Boom, boom, this is Ken, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. All right, we get a little bit of Azur Lane on tap, so let's just jump right into it. So we've got the Imperial Presage rerun event. So this is, it was held about September, I believe it was. September of 2019 is when it first came out. Imperial Tragicomedy is what it's called. All right, so these are Italian ships, and this the first part of the event is currently engaged right now. As you see, Ajax, York Illustrious, and Warspite. You should be using them. Use them to run this to get the Fubuki skin, limited time exclusive skin, because they get 20%. You need to get them fully limit broke. You do not need to get them to 120. Okay, fully limit breaking is only to level 70. Once you get to level 70, you can fully limit break them. So I would definitely urge you to take Illustrious and Warspite past 70, simply because they're excellent ships. Warspite, once she's been retrofitted, is a UR quality ship, and Illustrious is not a slouch carrier when it comes right down to it. So you definitely might want to take those two up. Ajax and York, really not any type of meta involving them, but they do need to. You do need to get them limit broken. They do need to survive. You have to run them in special sorties, A2, B2, C2, D2, in the second part of the event, which occurs on the 21st. So you want to get them to 70, get them limit broke. If you're going for the chat screen, the chat border screen, if you're not going to go for the chat border screen, there's really nothing to do this if you don't want to. But if you want to get some points to get this chat border here, you'll one of the ways to do that is to run these ships inside of those specific sorties and make sure they don't die as long as they survive, and you get some points that way. The other way is to limit break the Sardinia Empire Italian ships, which are going to go over here in a second. Okay, so that's that. So that's the this is the first phase. It's ending on the 21st. Okay, so you're going to see this update here this week, here in 3 days. So you definitely want to be looking into limit breaking those 4 ships if you're going to go for the chat screen. All right, so let's take a look at the ships. Let me jump over to the screen with the ships on it here. Now, these are the ships now. Italian ship, Italian ship, Italian, and Italian. Not Italian. This is an HMS Formidable from the Royal Navy. Many people consider her to be the best carrier in the game. Now, you've got USS Enterprise, of course. USS Enterprise does a ton of damage. But in the end of the day, that's really all Enterprise does. Well, she gives you some luck, but luck is a sort of passive crit damage reduction, crit damage increasing type thing. Enterprise does a ton of damage, but that's really all you get from her in terms of that. When her lucky E procs, she wipes the screen. Well, Formidable here, what you'll notice between Formidable, most people consider Formidable and Essex to be the 2 best carriers in the game. Everybody gives Formidable just a little bit of an edge, and I'll explain why here. But first of all, if you look between Formidable and Essex, you'll know that both of them have 3 skills. They have 1 offensive, 1 defensive, 1 support skill. And that's what sets them apart from Enterprise. Enterprise has the lucky E. 1 offensive, that's it. Okay, these carriers can help the entire fleet. Okay, so that's why they're considered to be better than the Enterprise, all right? Formidable is a little bit better simply because now Essex has the better stats. Essex has better stats on all 3 main stats, but Formidable is a little bit better because of the fact that she has heavy armor. Essex does not have heavy armor, and Formidable's heavy armor makes her more tankier, so she is a little bit stronger in that regards. Plus, her skill set is just a little bit better. So let's go ahead and take a look at the skill set. Now, as I mentioned before, she has 3 skills. These 3 skills, you want to focus on reload with her, and I will explain why, and it'll become apparent as we do go through her skills. All right, so the first one is supporting wings. Now, the parentheses is what the skill is at 10 fully maxed, which is what we'll use in terms of this discussion. All right, so first of all, she increases her own aviation by 15%. Bam. Straight damage buff to herself. Now, it's not for others, so it's not. She's going to help the main fleet, as I said, but not on this particular part. Okay, so 15% buff, straight damage. Love that. Okay, now all ferry albacore planes in use gain 15% additional efficiency, which means if you put the ferry albacores on her, they're going to get a 15% buff to their efficiency. Okay. Plus, if you equip the ferry albacore when launching an airstrike, there's a 100% chance to launch additional ferry albacore planes that has 80% chance to inflict flooding for 9 seconds upon hitting an enemy. Flooding slows down those ships that get hit. If you have a ferry equipped on her, she launches 12 torpedoes. She saturates the screen with torpedoes. Most of the ships on the screen are going to get hit. Therefore, they're going to be slowed down. You have better accuracy and you can hit them. Okay, so excellent first skill. All right, our second skill, don't move an inch when launching an airstrike. As you can see on the first one here, the skill procs when launching an airstrike, 100% chance to launch additional planes. Well, now you when launch an airstrike, you get an 80% chance to reduce the speed of all enemies. So any of those enemies that weren't hit on the previous torpedo bombing for the flood, you've now got them all. 1.5 seconds, okay, it reduces the speed of all ships. So all enemies are going to have their speed reduced by 1.5. Now this helps in the fact that it allows your ships, your battleships, to hit better chance of hitting the ships because they're moving slower. This is excellent. If you could time this airstrike and then immediately hit with your battleships, they're going to hit because they're slowed down. They're going to have a much higher accuracy chance for a much better chance of hitting. So if you have any, this is a great way to, if you do manual and time it right, you can do a ton of damage, okay? And then after that, enemy ships, they'll regain their speed during the next 2.5 seconds, okay? Now, the skill always activates on the first airstrike of each battle, okay? So remember, as I said, airstrikes are important reload time. We're going to go over some ways to increase the reload time on Formidable here shortly. But let's finish with Armored Hangar, which is her last skill. Decreases damage taken by self by 8%, okay? There's no more that needs to be said. She's now going to reduce her damage that she takes. Okay, combine that with the fact that she has heavy armor. She's a tank, okay? And then when launching an airstrike, it decreases damage, and here's the kicker. Damage taken by other ships in the main fleet by 8% for 10 seconds. Okay, she's giving you everything. Support, damage. I mean, when she launches an airstrike, good things happen. So you want her launching an airstrike. Okay, as more often she can launch an airstrike inside of a sortie, the more buffs you're going to get. You're going to get increased damage. You're going to have torpedo saturation on the screen, speed reduction of all enemies, allowing all your other ships to hit them more often, and then they're going to get a damage taken by the fleet for 8% for 10 seconds. All right, that's just an excellent skill set, and that's why people consider Formidable to be the best in the game, combined with the fact that she has a pretty awesome image. All right, so let's take a look. So airstrike, as I said before. So how do you increase airstrikes? Well, there's a couple of ways to do it. All right, the easiest way and very easy to do is simply the shop. Munitions, merit. That's right, the merit shop. Sorry, core shop. Core shop. And where's it at? Where's it at? It is right here. It is homing beacon. Okay. This increases the reload time of your carrier. So make sure you equip one of this on her. Okay. An auxiliary slot. Put a homing beacon. Okay. And you can get that just by its core points is only 500 points. If you're doing hard mode, you get the core when you do hard mode. You should be doing 3 hard modes on a daily basis. If you're not, naughty, shame on you, because you should be doing that on a daily basis. You definitely want to purchase one of those. If you don't have one and you don't have 500 core, just make sure you run your 3 hard modes on a daily basis, and you'll get core each time you do that. It's also one of your dailies. So if you're doing your dailies, you should have the core to get this piece of cake. Not to mention all the other good stuff in here. I got a Sea Furies in here. So this is a good place to get some good equipment that you can't get normally. Okay, so definitely want to focus on that. That's the easiest way. Okay, another way to do that is the fighters. If you use, you of course want to equip a ferry on there, of course. But if you use lower cooldown fighters like a Zero, I know it's a current Empire plane, but if you put that on there at lower time, so that's going to increase your reload time a little bit as well too. Also, if you get level her to 120 and then oath her, when she'll get a stat. The stat buff that you get will increase her reload time as well. Another easy way to get her is Meow Officer. This is my Meow Officer right here. I'm using, this is Bishop Maru. I have renamed her to Carriers so I can have a little bit better understanding of what goes. But if you look, reload +4. Okay, so you can use any one of the cats that you want. Just make sure that it has a carrier reload buff. Okay, as you can see, this is I consider Bishop Maru, this version of Bishop Maru. It's called the Paws of Fury Bishop Maru. I consider this to be the best carrier cat in the game. Okay, she's Bishop Maru when you get her. Okay, but you have to make sure that that it's the one that's specific for CVs. Okay, because there's different versions of different things out there. I just like this one because I think it's an excellent carrier. As you can see, we get to it here. It's all carriers. It focuses completely on carriers in all the stats, aviation, and light carriers too. So if you have a Saratoga or a Centaur in there, they get the buff as well. So this is what I use on any fleet that I'm putting in that has 3 carriers in the backfield. This is what I equip as the main cat. You can also have 2 Meow Officers, and then I can use there's another one I can use. I can go more carriers, or I can movement speed carrier movements. So I have different types of cats, flag cats. See, I specify which ones. I look at the best what I have in my fleet, and then I adjust my Meow Officers accordingly. For subs, I have this one. You'll find a cat for pretty much just about all the standard fleets that you would have. You'll be able to find a Meow Officer that will buff that. So that's what I do in terms of that. So it's not something you want to ignore. It's not a huge buff, but hey, it's good. But yeah, so use a Meow Officer. Okay. Now there's also some of the ships out there have the fleet tech bonus. With light carriers, the fleet tech bonus increases reload. It gives you a reload bonus as well. So but that would have to involve putting in other carriers into the fleet. But there are other ways to do that. Okay, but the easiest ones are just use the Zero, get her to 120, Oather, Meow Officer, and the homing beacon especially is super easy. Doing that will increase her reload time and get her to launch more airstrikes, because as you can see from her skill set, launching airstrikes makes her the most powerful carrier in the game. I agree with the assertion. I love Enterprise, don't get me wrong. I think she's an excellent carrier. But in terms of what she offers, Formidable offers more. So my ranking is Formidable, Essex, and then Enterprise. And Essex, Essex is good. I have Essex, and I'm in the process of getting her fully limit broke up. But I might put that on hold for the time being once I get Formidable, just because I'm interested to see what I can do with my HMS fleet with her in it. And it'll be interesting because my current is Elizabeth and then Warspite and Monarch on the flanks. I replaced Hood with Monarch because Monarch's a priority ship and she does more damage. So I've got Monarch. She's on my screen right here. That's Monarch. So I've got Monarch, Elizabeth, and Warspite. And Elizabeth's in there because of the buff that she supplies to all of the actual ships. So I want to see if putting in, because Formidable's an HMS ship. So if I were to put her back there, maybe replace her with Monarch or Warspite. I'm leaning more towards Monarch because I can use Monarch and other things, and I do have her in other fleets. But maybe stick HMS Formidable in there. She's going to get the buff from Elizabeth because she is a Royal Navy ship. She's going to do even more damage, and she's going to even hey, that might make her super tanky. So I want to experiment, but I got to get her. Like I say, I started literally at the end of this event is when I started playing the game the year before last. So that is what it's up. So yeah, she's definitely a good ship. Now the other ships, our Italian ships. These ships are not bad. Zara and Vittorio are pretty good ships. Okay, the problem is I'm not going to cover their skills right now. I'll cover them a little bit more in depth once I get them. But I just wanted to do something on Formidable because of how important she is in terms of this event that's coming up, and why I think you definitely need to focus on getting her. All right, but so Zara and Littorio, they're not bad ships. These are collectors. There's really nothing, none of these ships except for Formidable are really going to say like stick them in there to increase your fleet. That's one of the reasons I wasn't seeing them in any of the videos I've been watching and doing, studying. That's why I thought it was a rerun, but I'm like, I don't have any of the ships. Well, they're really not anything to write home about in terms of creating a fleet. I mean, for just having an Italian fleet, you need the ships. So if you want to try to make an Italian fleet, you've got some ships to do it with here. You're of course going to have to add some supplemental ships to make it viable. But so Zara and Littorio are not bad, but you definitely want to get all the ships just because they're Sardinia Empire ships, and there's a Sardinia Empire faction, and who knows, they might come out with something super tanky in the future to make this fleet more more viable option without Formidable in there, of course, just from Italian-based ships. If you like to do, I like to try to make synergized ships based on their fleet. My main in-game fleet is a mix, but I just like to do the other stuff because I think it's pretty cool. I like to get the buffs and synergies from other ships. So that's where it's at. All right. So yeah, but I did want to. Formidable is just an excellent character. All right. So definitely want to get Formidable when the event comes out. It's going to be 21st. So we've got today's 18th. So we've got about 3 days. The event's going to pop. Now, if you do want to get the points, of course, you're going to have to fully get all of those ships. All 7 of them, well, 6 of them actually, and focus on limit breaking them. And once you do limit break them, you will get the points if you want to get the chat order. Okay, so just like any other event, they have to give you the ships, you get them all, fully limit break them, and you get the event. So that means you need to get them all to 70, and you would need to apply the materials, the bullens, or if you get copies of them, of course, to actually limit break them up. All right, so it takes a lot of mats. Okay, so that's just something that you have to deal with. I don't quite have the mats to do it, but I'm definitely going to get Formidable. I'm going to pull for her until I get her, and then I'm definitely going to start working on getting her up and see what I can do with my HMS fleet. I do have an HMS fleet. It's a pretty good fleet, but it's got it's current one. I think I got them in here. I think they are fleet number 3. Yeah, this is it, Monarch Elizabeth. She's got a skin, so don't freak out that. I'm currently using I've currently got Edinburgh out here because I'm using her to get her level. She's not quite 120, Edinburgh isn't. So I took her out to put her in one of the fleets to run her to get some experience. But as you can see, I've got War Sprite with Hood on the and Monarch over here. I replaced Hood with Monarch because Monarch's a priority ship. She does more damage. And then I've got Belfast and Javelin. So that's not in the right spot there. Belfast should be over here on the flanks, along with Edinburgh and then Javelin in the center. But yeah, so this is my current fleet. So putting Formidable in there, I probably would not replace Elizabeth simply because of the buff that she offers to all HMS ships, and these are all HMS ships. But I might, I use Monarch in my main. I have a fleet. My buff, it's my super tanky fleet that I use for doing 13, and Monarch is a member of that. So I switch her back when I need to use HMS. I might just take her out and then stick Formidable in there because Formidable's going to get the buff from Queen Elizabeth as well, and see if I can get an increase in damage. As you can see, I'm already at 14.4 on my backfield because these are fully limit broke, fully leveled, fully maxed, fully equipment maxed. So I'm I think about putting Formidable in there just to see, take her for a stroll, see what she can do, and see if it helps. It might get me up above 15. Probably not because Monarch's a priority ship and she's super powerful. I'll probably end up having slightly lower stats after this when I put her in there, but I think I might be dealing out a little bit more damage simply because and I'm going to have the buff that Formidable gives. You're going to have decreasing, so you're going to do, other ships are going to do more damage and whatnot. So it's, you know, it's something that you have to consider. And once I get her, I don't have her. Once I get her, we'll get her up, put her in there, give her a stroll, and see what she can do. And then we'll do a video on what I found to be most beneficial from my standpoint. You know, some of you might not have all these ships, but if you do, you know, it's something to look at. And this is an excellent fleet right here. I can do 12 and 13 with this. I don't have much problems. It's a little bit low on the anti-air, so sometimes I'll take out Edinburgh, which is why she's not at 120, and I'll throw Sandy in there. You know, if I'm doing one of the story modes that's really tough with a lot of aircraft, I'll throw Sandy in there for some anti-air. I'm in the process of working Dido U up, and I might start sticking Dido U in there, even though she's technically a universe ship. But she keeps with, because the original Dido is an HMS made fleet ship, so just to keep with the actual theme going. But Dido U is the second best anti-air ship in the game. You should have got her from the universe event, which we had a while back. So you definitely want to get her fully limit breaker, put her in a fleet. Anytime you're going up against a carrier, and you're going to see a benefit from her. She's got excellent anti-air stat once you get those skills leveled up. All right. So yeah, so that's where we're at. But yeah, I did want to do that. A Formidable, just wow. So I just wanted to put out a video and, you know, save up those cubes because you're going to need them for this event. All right, so thanks a lot for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Of course, once you've subscribed, you'll see that little bell there. If you click on that bell, ding, ding, you will get notified each time I do drop a video. So this is Kenrick coming at you from the corner, signing out.